What's up, guys? Luminostic, sure you know that. Hello, it's me. Um, uh, Gosh, where to start? Okay, so I guess first thing is just that we just don't have a lot of data here. I don't know what's going on, but we have to conserve it. And also, I think the quality of the live streams is probably not super good because of the satellite or something. Charles, what's going on, man? Uh, and I have a whole bunch of other crazy concerns and stuff. Some of the stuff I was gonna say turned out not to be true. I looked at my stats on the channel and it's actually doing a lot better than I thought. But okay, so first of all, the other day I got on and I asked you guys to click on this link and go, and a bunch of people did it, and I was super stoked because we're trying to get on this whitelist. And it's not something that I would want to put money in, but I just know that it's going to make a bunch of money, and if we can get on the whitelist, we can turn a very small amount of money into a whole money as long as I'm online when it launches and get out at the right time. And that's one of the things I wanted to orchestrate in this community, not just for me, but to have us do that kind of stuff for each other, let's get us all on whitelists, and really organize and mobilize to empower people that are trying to, spread consciousness and elevate consciousness. And that was my goal. So at the moment, even if you already did it, I'm just asking you to do it again because there was a glitch in the bot that they said no one got counted. So let me run through the steps real quick just so that you guys know. You click the link and it's going to take you to the bot page, and then you have to join the group and do the capture, and then you have to make sure that you go back to the bot page and click start. Otherwise it won't count it. So I don't know if maybe people didn't go back and click start after in the group. Maybe they thought joining the group was but because they knew there was a glitch, they put another link up and said the top 20 this time. So it's not 100 this time, it's only 20. So if you guys don't mind, if you already did it, I don't even know if it'll count, and I hate to waste your time, but that's what I'm asking. That's the favor, because really the biggest issue for me at this point right now is my health. I mean, this morning I don't even know where a hospital is relative to where we're at in the jungle, or if that's even a reasonable route to, because, okay, yeah, it's on again. It's not a scam. There was so much traffic, I think, that it wasn't counting, or it was the last hour or something, so it didn't count them, I guess. I mean, I don't know, you guys. But it's worth a shot, and if you guys are into it, then I definitely appreciate it. It's gotten to the point where, like, I'm so inflamed inside that, like, if I lay on my stomach, I can feel, like, that I'm swollen. And my cognition is suffering, my quality of life is, there is no quality of life. I'm not able to perform the basic tasks that I need to really take care of my family, even at this point. Honestly, we had, I talk on this channel about how, if it's in the description, Fernando, I talk about how if you're following your highest path, that the universe just sort of, in the most miraculous ways, just makes a path plain for you. Honestly, that has not stopped, but I have not been able to, it's kind of like, that a good analogy would be like when the ball is pitched and the person just like watches it zip by and doesn't even swing. Like, I did that last week, and I'm not going to get into the details, but it was the most ridiculous. Like, I would never do this. Like, we had an opportunity, a miracle happened, and all I had to do was do what I would normally just automatically do. And it's like my cognition is so foggy because of my health that I missed an opportunity to just in a split second, under miraculous circumstances, solve all of our problems, except for my health. But money would be a so you know what I mean. I'm not functioning at my best, and so I mean I've even considered like going and just like checking myself into a hospital because I'm not really sure if I'm going to die. I mean this has been going on for so long. I feel like what's happening right now is that whatever it is that has been wrong is going from a chronic phase to an acute phase, and I know that that is the danger zone. And all of our potential sources of income have dried up, except for the Patreon. Really appreciate you guys. And even if I do stop doing the live streams for a little while, I'm still going to be uploading the ritual magic stuff to the Patreon, so hopefully those guys will stick around. Well, here's the thing, Fernando, and I've been meaning to say this for a while. I think some of the stuff that I say has led some of you guys to think that I am against modern medicine. That's not true. I am all about utilizing whatever tool serves us for whatever purposes, you know. I have had chronic illnesses of different types for several decades, and I have never gotten any help from mainstream doctors. I've taken their medications. I've had thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in tests, and it never did me any good. So it's not that I'm opposed to modern medicine. It's just that it's never done a fucking thing for me. So that's why I'm not like in a big hurry to go that route. And you know, I'm trying to be forthcoming and transparent because I think you guys always talk about how the sincerity on this channel is a big part of why it appeals to you. And so I need to be fully honest and transparent. And I'm actually surprised at my own hypocrisy in some ways, I guess, because I have definitely not, like, I talk about how I've encountered this consciousness or spirit beings or however you want to talk about it that has always given me accurate information, and I'm sure that like ayahuasca could give me some insight into what's going on with my health, and I have, no matter how bad it gets, I have just refused to go there. It makes no sense. I can't explain it. I shouldn't be making excuses for it. I feel like one potential solution for that may be to go to a shaman rather than trying to do it myself, but we just can't afford that. And I'm still making excuses. It's crazy. Like, I don't know what, because I know that if I contacted this woman and explained the situation to her, I'm sure we could work something out. And I have just not done it for months, It's blowing my mind. Like, I don't know what's going on. The only thing I can think, and I'm thinking about this from a shamanic point of view, is that, fuck, man. And this is one of the reasons I did this tonight, actually, because I want to offer you guys something of value. Like, I don't just talk about myself just to, like, do it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to offer you guys insights by way of self-analysis, or like maybe I'm holding up a mirror kind of hopes. But I realize what happened. I know what happened. I've known what happened this whole time. I don't know why. See, I've been like sitting here acting like I don't. I do, and you'll see. It's real simple. My issue, my entire life was basically mostly that I was raised by a woman that was severely sexually abused, and on all kinds of different levels, she did all kinds of damage. And so, with my, I don't know what to call it, medical development, spiritual development, entheogens over the years, I managed to overcome addictions and heal physical maladies and gain all this insight into, I used to be hella violent. Like, I was always very compassionate and like kind to animals and children, but you could, like, there were certain buttons that you could push and I would just psycho, like total dangerous psycho. Um, not like after innocent people really or anything, but I mean, it was not good. I fixed that, without any help from therapy, just with psychedelics and you know, contemplation. Um, but when I came back to South America, uh, and my mother committed suicide, it was almost it well not almost it was exactly like, especially under the circumstances, because we had a falling out right before she did it. And this is why, you guys, look, I'm not trying to put down my mother. She had a huge heart. Um, it's not about that. And it's not about blame for any of you that might be going through something similar, but I have to tell you this from the bottom of my heart. And this may sound insane and it may sound cruel, but it is solid advice. If I had the opportunity to not have come back to Ecuador, except that I'm grateful for my partner and my son, that's not what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I'm just talking about for the sake of this trauma and um, the situation. I wouldn't have done it. Like, my brother didn't speak to my mom for the last like 20 years. If you have someone in your life that has narcissistic personality disorder, for your own good, doesn't matter if it's your mother or your father or your brother or whatever, there is no help for them. Stop making excuses. Don't subject yourself to it. Don't give them a chance to destroy you, because they fucking will if they can. And it's not even that they're bad or evil. They can't help it. They don't understand what they're doing. Um, I mean, and it's so sophisticated. The human mind is so sophisticated. They're capable of projection, of blame shifting, of selective perception, um, to an extent that is just absolutely, you can't believe it. And that's why it's so difficult to come to terms with it. Because it's hard for, a person that doesn't have that disorder to conceive of someone having that little self-awareness. Um, it's, but yeah, if I could do it over again, I wouldn't have put myself in a position to allow her to set me up for that. And I think that I had healed so much of the damage. It's like, and I was right on the edge of realizing the dream that all of that damage had sort of constrained me from achieving. Like, I had transcended it all. And I hadn't seen her in like 8 years, and I opened the door back up, and she just, you know. And the message was very plain, like, I'm killing myself because of you. And she had been saying that to me since I was 5 years old. Like, that eventually she was going to have to kill herself because of me. And it was almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy that we had this falling out, and then she... So, I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like this is the final purge, and it's going to be the most difficult part. And I think that the resistance and the hesitation on my part has been mostly because I thought I had gotten through the worst of it already. You know what I mean? I thought I had come out on the other side, and I was just moving on. And I think this is like, the final confrontation with that momentous, horrendous fucking shadow. And, it could just be that I'm in South America and I'm a fucking gringo and I have some kind of weird bacterial infection that has overflowed from my small intestines and I haven't taken the right antibiotics. But, I'm not the most emotional person. Most of my compassion and empathy, and my desire to spread light in the world does not come from a place of warm fuzziness. It comes from pure, rational, it just makes more sense to me. And I know that's not going to make anyone like me anymore, but that's just the truth. And I'm just noticing that as I've been talking about this, it's been difficult to do it. Um, but that's what I have to do, and I can't believe I'm stalling for so long. It's just insane, man. I mean, I did try to drink a little bit of ayahuasca a little while back, and I just took a sip, and I felt sick in a way that I have never, like, it was crazy how sick I felt. Um, but that's what needs to come out, and I just feel like if I can just get that last little bit of courage, you know. And one of the things I was saying about this channel, you guys, is that, something happened last night. I don't know what it was. I really just felt so discouraged. Like, after 3 years, the number of views dropped by 90% or something after we got demonetized. Like, and I think it's more than that. It's not just how many people are watching or whatever. I mean, some of it's ego, I guess. I mean, I really did, like, my whole life I was waiting for this moment where psychedelics were becoming mainstream, and it seemed like the kind of consciousness that is capable of eradicating, all of the nonsense that we have carried with us, the shadow of history, basically, the light that could dissolve it and dissipate it all. That could, dissolve the mind-forged manacles of the collective mind. I knew it was coming in my lifetime, and I feel like it's here. And I always kind of imagined that I would be like a leading light, and I feel like right at the critical moment, I just like bailed out or something, and. So, it's like the opposite of what I was expecting to happen has been happening. And I think that we started out with so much momentum, and it felt like, it just, I don't remember what happened yesterday, but I was going to sleep, and I was just feeling like such an abject failure. Like, my music, I felt like I was just a terrible musician, and, it's just those moments of just abject blackness. And but then, and I wanted to thank you guys, someone in particular. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name, and it doesn't matter because it's not your name anyways. It's just your fucking YouTube handle or whatever. But and it's really interesting how the universe does this, and I really do think it's a. I'm gonna make a shrimp sandwich. Oh, Charles. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's just ego, man. I mean, we're all human, and like, I just, the last 3 years it just has not made sense, and I've never dealt with, insufficient confidence or feeling unsure, or, this is new territory, I guess. But anyways, I was feeling all that terrible shit, and then when I woke up today, there was a new comment on an old video, and I was feeling bad about both things. Like, oh, I remember what it was. The last video I did on the Book of Lies, a couple things happened. At the end, I was really it finally, like, it all off exactly the way I had always wanted it to, and it was perfect, and it was profound and amazing, and I was just so happy with it that even though I felt like shit for years now, like, I was like bubbling over with energy in the kitchen afterwards, and then I realized later that the camera had died like way before I said any of it. So that sucked, and I don't know how I would ever do that again. It was just totally spontaneous, and so yeah, I was fucking pissed about that. And then And then like no one really watched it, and it didn't, I was just bummed, because I felt like it was like the best I had to offer, and it was getting ignored, and and with everything else, and I don't know what happened with my yeah, it's weird. Like little shit has been getting to me that never would get to me. I posted some guitar solo on TikTok, and somebody made this like vomiting face, and I was like, oh my god, I suck. And like, what? Why would I react to like one asshole's emoji like that? It's just. I guess I've really been broken down, but I was just feeling so dejected and shit. And then I got online today, and I saw this comment, and it was my new favorite YouTube channel, and not only that, but it was on one of my music videos. So I felt better about both things, and then I was able to just remind myself that um, that it doesn't matter if how many people it is, or what kind of consequence there is for me, really. I know that I've had a positive impact, and that I've helped some people. I know that I've actually shown people genuine fucking magic. Like, I mean, there's a guy, he's probably mad at me at the moment because he came out here, probably all full of hope and piss and vinegar, and I was just too sick to function. So I'm sure his last trip was disappointing. But, I mean, this guy flew across the country twice, or the world, I mean, twice to come and see me. And both times, even at my worst, I was able to, like, demonstrate. I don't like to put it that way. It's not like I'm doing it, but it does seem to happen around me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to take responsibility for it. It's like these synchronicities and these sort of, like, demonstrations of the existence of a universal mind that are very, very convincing. You know what I mean? And I absolutely don't take credit for it. It's not. It's. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. And it's funny because one of my heroes, Jerry Garcia, he used to talk about this all the time because he conducted this energy that is like, if, when it was on, it would cause like the gnosis in people. It would elevate the consciousness of the people in the audience, And he knew it, but he always said that too. That he's like, it's not fucking me, It's like clearly I have something to do with it. I have a relationship with it, but I don't know what it is. I don't cause it exactly, And it was amazing for me to realize, like at some point, that was a condition of my reality as well, that I have this capacity to instigate these things, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like I consciously do it like some kind of wizard or something, but, so, and that's just the most incredibly satisfying thing that could possibly happen to me. It's what my true will is. There's really nothing beyond that, That's why, I never monetized any of my endeavors in the past. It wasn't until I came to South America and got myself in trouble, and I had to, because it wasn't about that. It was about bringing this energy and this consciousness to wherever I was, and that's it. Like, people would ask me all the time, like, why haven't you recorded any music? And I couldn't see any reason to. Because you can't record that energy, so who cares? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see any reason to do that, because that's not the point. Like, I wasn't really making songs to listen to songs. I was trying to generate a certain type of energy that affects people in a certain way. And it can't be recorded, so I didn't want to. Who cares? Unfortunately, I didn't have anyone around me that would say, yeah, but you have to survive, so you need to also make this a business, and in order to book bigger gigs, you need recording so people will take you seriously. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't give a shit about any of that. It was just. Well, I appreciate that, Fernando, and I really do appreciate you guys. I mean, I'm already staying on here longer than I wanted to, but a lot of you guys really have. I mean, everyone I can see there has been like family. For some of you guys have gone way, way, way beyond what I ever would have expected from people that I have never met, to try to offer support and I mean, it's been incredible. But at the current juncture, man, I just feel fucking broken. Like, I've had, well, okay, while we're on the subject though, let me offer something that may be of service to you. Um, so I was talking about how, I had this vision of, the most important one was a San Pedro vision. And uh, it's not like San Pedro, I had this light aforetime. It's not like the San Pedro taught me this exactly, but it showed me in like a visual metaphor, or not a visual metaphor. Well, I guess all things that you see are sort of metaphors, really, because there's an energetic basis behind them, and there's meaning in it all. Um, Even if that meaning is only relation, but still, it's there. Uh, but anyways, light, right, and its relationship with consciousness. Um, that's no major revelation. I think that every mystic and occultist and alchemist and Native American, certainly Wakumeros, blew my mind with that, because I did not ever drink. Still to this day, actually, I have not had San Pedro with a Wakumero, with a San Pedro shaman. I never really thought about that fact, but it's true. I just started making it and drinking it on my own. Ayahuasca, I started drinking with people, and I think that's probably wise. I already had a lot of experience with psychedelics, so I would not do that if you're a novice, especially because San Pedro can cause long blackouts. It's happened to me even. And I've always been really good at maintaining consciousness, but man, you get overwhelmed on San Pedro, it can be a long time before you regain your focus, so really be careful with that. But this is one of those times where I kind of lost focus, and I was suddenly in this sea of little yellow specks, and there were trillions of them for like billions and billions of miles. And I knew what they were. I was like, oh, that's consciousness. Those are little individual units of consciousness. And so I was one of them, and I knew it. And so I could see that they were moving. So I focused on one of them and pulled it out with my mind out of the cloud of glittering photons of consciousness, or consciousness generating photons, or whatever the fuck they were. And I pulled it up, and it was like a tesseract, which is a shape that also exists in time, so you can never see the whole thing at once. It's not because it's not there, it's because part of it is in another dimension in time. So it looks like it's moving, but it's not. It's just that as time is moving, you're seeing different parts of it. So that was happening. And so I let it go back, and then the San Pedro spirit, I guess, the consciousness of the thing said, so you see how many of these are, and and it just said, watch this, and it took one of them away, and I was gone. And it's not like it was black or clear or any kind of shit like that. It was nothingness. It was the most horrifying fucking thing when I came back, because I just like was suddenly there again, and I was like, so it was fucking horrifying. I mean, there's no way to describe this. I mean, I've blacked out before. I've passed out before. I've fallen asleep before. Nothing like any of that. I mean, I was just nothing for a second. And so I was like, so what in the hell are you trying to tell me? Because it just took one of them away. And I understood that it was saying that if anything in the chain of events, a single fucking particle had a different relationship with all of the ones that preceded or followed it, you would not exist. That was the message. And I was like, so what are you trying to tell me? That this is all just a chaotic accident? And it's like, no. I'm trying to show you how, subtle and complex and sophisticated and highly organized, and how many constituents have to be exactly perfectly the way they are in order to facilitate this kind of creation that you're experiencing. And so that was a part of the puzzle. And then so what I've been trying to figure out since then is how it is that consciousness can compel anything to do anything, like through what mechanism, what force is acting upon stuff. And the other day I was like, oh, what compels light to go, 186,000 miles per second or whatever it is. And okay, electromagnetic waves. So there's oscillations that are moving the light that quickly, and that is what facilitates the action of consciousness upon energy. And so that was good. So I got that piece together. And then I started thinking about how I used to walk through life without, kind of like there's like this analogy of like you put your foot and then there's a step there. You know what I mean? But you don't look to see if there's a step, and you're not concerned with whether there's a step. You just put your foot and there's a step. And that's how I lived for a long time, and I did extraordinary things that were impossible. I mean, just ludicrous. Like, I would decide I wanted to talk to a certain rock star like Danny Carey from Tool, and I would literally just walk right to him. No stalking, no calling. I mean, there were lots of witnesses, and I did this several times under different circumstances. So, definitely happened. I mean, I still kind of do it, but it's not like it used to be. And then I started thinking about the body and how the electrical aspect of it is the masculine, and the cerebral and the intellect and all of that shit. And I've always lived entirely in that. Almost no emotions. I don't care about sex. Like, I've never thought about it. The other day I was reading something that said like, if you want to engage with someone, like ask them about their sexual fantasies, and I was like, what the fuck is that? What do you mean sexual fantasies? Like I don't understand it. I don't really care. I mean, I once had a girlfriend tell me I hadn't touched her for 6 months, and I was like, pretty sure most girls would. Like, why did you stick around if that's, But I'm not in the body. I'm not, and so. But that's a problem because, I've always had health problems and stuff. And so what I did before is I kind of used this tremendous force of will and this sort of instinctual connection with the cosmos, I guess, to navigate things so that I could do what it is that I do. And I would just drug the body when it wouldn't keep going. Right? Like, if it was really bad sometimes, and I mean, this was 10 years ago or something, but I would take narcotics. I had definitely opiate addiction a couple of times. After I realized I couldn't continue doing that, I started taking kratom. And, I knew I had health problems, but I was like, I have to fucking keep going. So just fistfuls of kratom all the time, but not like trying to get to the root of the issue or whatever, just like, full bore, I mean, I would like grow 100 pot plants and practice 60 hours a week with my band and work a job and somehow 2 or 3 hours of sleep, and I'm just like, just going. Clearly that shit has caught up with me, and I'm realizing that it's a good thing it has, probably, because I need to reconnect with that electromagnetic energy. I'm realizing that I think part of the problem is that I have neglected that aspect, so that it doesn't matter if I have all of this consciousness that is trying to order the electromagnetic waves and impose my will upon the chaotic energy around me in order to constrain the universe to my purposes. Which used to be effortless, it's not really possible if the body is just totally fucked, which is what's happening. And as much as I have been talking about how broken I feel and how even hopeless sometimes, I also feel like this is the opportunity for me to finally reach a holistic state where I have integrated. I'm no longer like a totally cerebral into person, and I'm sure that my music will benefit, my creativity, which all of those things have been very powerful so far. But I'm sure, if I allow myself to have some kind of sexual identity, which, I mean, I've told you guys about, my mother's abuse as a child and how being a person with severe damage and having a male child, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. I understand all of it, what happened and what led to it. So, I realize this is a very difficult, juncture that I have arrived at, and it's probably going to be difficult to push through it. But I also feel like I will be in a place of greater power and wisdom and and completion, um, in every aspect of my life. The things that were missing. Before, will be there. My voice, for example, I was always kind of a hollow singer, sounded strained. Was probably lacking soul to some extent because I had no connection to emotion, horrified of sexuality, which probably sounds crazy coming from someone that seems so, like, radical most of the time, but it's true, and I've always been very proud of it, kind of, and I still kind of feel like the reason that people are so obsessed with sex is because their lives are so empty. I feel like if you have an artistic life and you have meaning and you have substance, it's not so all-consuming. And there's so many distortions that are caused by the toxic culture that we are all exposed to from the time of our birth. Um, this revulsion that I have towards this is well founded, but my perception of it needs to be transmuted a little bit, a lot of bit. Sorry, I just realized I haven't read the comments in a while. Okay, so and I do have 5 more minutes, man, because I'm killing the fucking data. By the way, I haven't said this all night, so hit the like button, share, subscribe, support us on Patreon. There's PayPal and Zelle addresses in the description. You can send some support. We definitely appreciate it. Fucking ship is sinking. There's a leak in the boiler room. There's a Binance Smart Chain address as well. Okay, so you can get the San Pedro cactus from Peru. You can just order San Pedro cactus, and the computer just died, and that is my cue. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue to do these streams at all in the near future. So I'll still at least put up videos, and I will put some content in the Patreon. But the peyote cactus is a lot more toxic than San Pedro. So it's a lot more difficult. Lafaufarine is pretty toxic, and there's a lot of it in peyote. So thanks for sharing this meltdown with me. It's good though, you guys. I'm not really negative. I mean, it's just been such a long year and a half or so. But I finally feel like I'm at that make or break point where if I don't push through this now, and I just don't have a choice. So thanks so much for watching and supporting and being friends and family, which all of you guys have been. And you know, if I find out that the data can handle it, then I'll keep doing this. But in the meantime, keep supporting each other, and I'll see you all soon.